Welcome back to Conversations with Zelisa right here on Real TV, where we bring reality to you. So all of our local, regional, international viewers, those of you on Tego, the app, remember to tell your friends and family they can download the app on your device. Take Real TV with you real time, anytime, and gain knowledge. Knowledge is power, right? We continue to inform, educate, and empower. Speaking of informing, educating, we always understand the importance of good health, ultimate health, because your health is your wealth. Today I'm in conversation with a strength when it comes to health, when it comes to you being whole again and not broken. And I'm speaking of no other than Mr. Chetwayo La Borde. Now, Mr. La Borde is a nutritional therapist, and he's also the author of You Are Not Sick, You Are Malnourished. A very loud and important message for us today, understanding the importance of good health. Welcome. Great to have you, sir.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
It is indeed our privilege, because I always say your health is your wealth. And I don't say that casually. I say it with a very deep meaning of taking a whole of your life and understanding your health. Without your health, when you have poor health, it's not just you are affected, but your loved ones are affected as well.
Correct.
And it is important to always take care of yourself, love you. If you can't love you enough to take care of your health, then you can't love others. That's the truth. 5 years ago this year, I would have lost my husband to kidney failure. As of Monday, would have been 2 weeks since I lost my father to bleeding in his brain. And that's not easy to digest. So I truly understand the importance of really making a conscious effort to take care of your health and eat wisely. Not overindulge, but rather do things in moderation. Not self-diagnose and think you could go on the internet and Google things and think it's okay. Or because this one is taking that, you think it's okay. It's not okay. And I think you are going to be able to elaborate on that and help us understand the importance of not making such poor choices.
Correct. So first of all, I must say condolences to the losses that you have suffered. And as you mentioned, health affects everyone.
It does.
Right? The number one resource in any country is the human resource. And if that resource is predominantly sick, then the entire nation suffers.
Exactly.
Right? And a lot of people don't see it in that manner. Trinidad and Tobago, especially, we are one of the sickest countries in the world.
Correct.
And it's not something that people are quite aware of when it comes to things like obesity. Right, when it comes to things like diabetes, right, heart disease, cardiovascular diseases, strokes, right, mental health issues, dementia, Alzheimer's, we are up there among some of the top countries in the world. So it means that we as citizens need to put a lot of effort towards health, all right, but we need to do it from an informed standpoint, an informed perspective, and that's where it's usually lacking. Most of the things people do with regards to health are usually traditional. They follow traditional stuff, but not because it's traditional means that it is scientifically accurate or beneficial to the body. This is why I publish my book, to educate people. In fact, what I do in my consultations, it's called a consultation and re-education session, because I re-educate people and I provide them and show them what the science actually shows, what the data actually shows. A lot of things with regards to health are usually rumors. Rumors that have been circulating so long that people begin to think that it is factual and true because of the length of time it has been, circulating, but it's actually not accurate. All right? We govern everything. Most people are unaware of it, but we govern almost everything by science. We use technology, our cell phones, our vehicles, even to make clothing. Clothing has to follow specific measurements, all right, and templates and so forth. But when it comes to nutrition, it's usually what is handed down, right? Grandma's recipe. This is how my mom showed me to cook and stuff like that. So we never really put much thought into it. And you ask somebody a question, Why you think you're sick? One of the first things people say is, well, I do eat on time. I'm pretty sure you hear that often.
I'm sure you get it as a nutritional therapist. It's what you get. I don't have the time, so I eat on the go. I just don't eat at all.
Right, and what I tell people, the issue is not the timing of when you eat. It is what you eat.
What you eat.
Not when, but what.
What you choose to eat. Because we have the power of choice.
Correct. But we have to be informed to make the right choices. And that's what this book does. It educates you on what we are biologically designed to consume and not consume, and why. Because if you don't understand the why behind the choice, you're not going to stick with it. Right? You're just thinking, well, that is just somebody give me a random tip. And you know, it's also something else I tell people. I don't like to give people health tips because a tip is isolated. Right? It doesn't come in full context. So you give somebody a health tip, but it doesn't take into consideration the metabolic processes that's happening within the body. So if somebody is in a different metabolic place, that tip you give them could actually be detrimental. So people need the full picture, the full understanding of things before you advise on what they should and shouldn't be consuming. All right? So it would be somewhat reckless to just give people these random, eat this. And how society is being cultured now because of social media, everything is now short. And if you notice, videos now is shorts. Everybody wants information in short amount. There's these short volumes there. People think that health is something that they could just take a little quick tip. Send me an answer quickly on WhatsApp and a quick comment. Tell me what to eat, what not to eat quickly.
It doesn't happen like that.
Right? We have to be willing to invest in our health. Right? We have to be willing to invest in our health.
I like that you've said that too. Invest in your health. Like anything else, what you put in is what you get.
Exactly.
So when you talk about investing in your health, you are speaking to us about investing in the right food, for instance, salads and vegetables. I'm just saying, investing in the right things in order to bring the right nutrients to our body.
Right. So when I say invest, I am more focusing along the lines of education. Education, because knowledge is power. You know, we always say that. Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
But what I tell people is this: having knowledge and not applying it
doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. It's a waste of that power. So the application of knowledge is where the power actually is. All right? So people need to be willing to invest in educating themselves with regards to proper nutrition. Right? So when I talk about investment, it's not financial investment, right? It's that time investment, that sacrifice towards committing to learning and then applying it. That's how you end up healthy.
That's the magic word there, committing. Being committed. Across the board, being committed to what you're doing. And we live in a real world where we started off talking about the cultures of what was passed on or what the tradition, like a Sunday meal. When you think of a Sunday meal, you're thinking of rice and callaloo, macaroni pie, potato salad. That's a fact. And maybe a bake something and a stew something, or roti and rice and curry and potato, and we think this is how we are. And the truth is, I believe, and I stand to be corrected, a lot of people eat with their eyes. So they see something that looks yummy, and they buy it without thinking, does this have any nutritional value to it? Is this going to make me better? Is this going to make me worse? We stop and we think, okay, the doubles is on the go. I mean, who doesn't like doubles? I like doubles, but you have it in moderation. You can't have a doubles every day. Well, although you may have the chana, which is protein.
I go further than that, because when it comes to understanding nutrition, you have to understand things on a metabolic level as well, all right? Not because it could be consumed means that it should be consumed. All right? And that's how a lot of people eat, right? And many people chase the calories or they look at calories. So that's all they're counting. But calories is just a measure of combustion, right? Something is combustible, so this is the amount of energy it releases when it combusts. So it's the same thing. That's what happens in your metabolic system. But just like many things could burn, could combust. But there are some things, if you burn it, you could get arrested and charged for, right? You know why? Because of the byproducts of it. So burning plastic, right? You could call the authorities on somebody if you catch them burning plastic because the fumes that it gives off is toxic. Same way, there are things that you consume when it metabolizes in the body, it gives off harmful byproducts. And these are things that people are not aware of. So they are consuming it and they're saying, well, this have this amount of calories. No, the human body and metabolic system is not a furnace, right? It's not a furnace. It's a metabolic system, right? So therefore, you have to factor in byproducts as well. So a lot of things we call healthy aren't actually healthy. And these are the things that I go into my book, because I've had a lot of people come to me that are health conscious, very health conscious people, following things that they have seen in the mainstream, that they've done their little research. You know, people are limited in how they could research, but they have researched to the best of their ability, and they are following, but they're wondering why they're sick. Why do they have cancer? Why do they have all these autoimmune conditions? What's causing that? And when they come to me, and I show them the actual science, then they realize, wow, what I thought was healthy was actually harming me. Because we have to understand something else called bioavailability.
Good. And we'll talk about that when we return.
No problem.
This is a program, Conversations with Zelisa, right here on Real TV. Let's go to these important messages. Today we're talking about your health, prioritizing the importance of, making sure in terms of what you invest in, what you get in return for ultimate health. Stay with us.
If you want to understand what's really happening inside your body, I break it down in detail in my book, You Are Not Sick, You Are Malnourished. It's available on Amazon and Gumroad, RIK bookstores nationwide, Nelson's bookstore in Tobago, or directly through the clinic.
Welcome back to Conversations with Zelisa, right here on Real TV, where we bring reality to you, to all of our local, regional, international viewers. Thank you so much for choosing us. Today, I'm in conversation with Mr. Chetwayo La Borde. He is, when it comes to nutrition, he's a therapist, and he's also the author of this wonderful book, You Are Not Sick, You Are Malnutritioned. I like that. You're not sick, you're malnutrition, which means, sir, La Borde, Mr. La Borde, you can reverse it by choice.
Correct.
Nice.
So a lot of diseases can be reversed. All right. Now, people, when they hear that, I always tell people I don't use the term cure. Right. Cure gives the idea that you could continue doing what you want to do and you could fix the disease. No.
Meaning that you don't get to the root of it, the source of it?
Correct.
Okay, nice.
So when it comes to reversing a disease, you have to go to the root cause of that disease and address it from there. Now, the body is designed to heal and rebuild itself. That's the design of the body. But we have to understand that the inputs into the body can hinder that process. And that's why I educate people on, so they become more conscious of what they are putting into the body, what is harming the body, what needs to be removed from the diet, what they're supposed to be consuming so that the body could do what it does best.
Nice.
Medications usually focus on suppressing symptoms or symptom management.
Nice.
That's what it does.
It's
Manage your symptoms.
Correct, I like that.
Right? But it doesn't focus on root cause. Right? So if you are trying to reverse the disease by taking a medication to manage symptoms, it's not going to happen. And I've had people, let's take for example, diabetes. I've had people come to me and they have been diabetic for years, decades. They are taking their medications. Their blood sugar reading, based on when they do their daily tests, is fine. But when they go and they do a HbA1c test, right? Now, a HbA1c test is what measures how much sugar is bonded to the hemoglobin in your red blood cells, which is really what diabetes is. So when they go and they do that test, every couple months, their HbA1c level keeps elevating. But their blood sugar level on a daily level, on a daily basis, is showing that it's good. So why is that happening? And that's because medication focuses on suppressing symptoms, managing it. But the true damage is taking place, but you are now unconscious of it. So then after years now, you might start feeling a little tingling in the foot, slight numbness, all right? Your kidneys might start to give some trouble. Different parts of the body start to malfunction, and you might think it's old age, not knowing it's damage from the sugar, right? It's still damage continuating, but it was subtly happening below the surface.
Now, how can, when you talk about, you use one term, there's the book, You Are Not Sick, You Are Malnourished, How Nutritional Therapy Reverses the Incurable and Rebuilds the Human Body. Which means is that with the right food, based on what you are saying, with the right food, it could reverse certain health concerns.
Correct.
So you said with regards to numbness in the feet, some people may take that for granted and you say, well, I got an old, so I have these little symptoms, or my father had this, or my brother had this, or my friend, and you think it's okay. But the fact is you are in control, or you can make the choice with the right intervention and the right food, you can reverse that.
Correct. And what I also want to tell people, you want to be more preemptive, right? It is better to avoid an illness than to have to try to treat an illness.
Correct, agree.
Always better to be preemptive.
Prevention is better than cure. I like
correct.
that. So true.
But you know, as a society, people are more responsive. You know, you respond to something instead of they try to prevent. All right, and that's the sad part. That's the sad part. We wait until something happens, then we want to start to take action. All right, and that shouldn't be the case. But this is why I say education is key. If we start educating children, like I am someone that got a copy of my book in Barbados, contacted me and said, this book needs to be in every school in the Caribbean because the information in it is something that everybody needs to know.
Right.
And if people know the information from an early age,
Yeah.
right, it starts to take root.
Exactly.
And then that can blossom as they grow, and then they can teach their children and then their children's
You're
children.
absolutely correct. And I think who has the power to change that or to make wiser and better choices would be the parents, because they have the spending dollar. They are the ones that will go to the supermarket or the market or wherever they shop, and they bring home the food and prepare it. It's what we prepare, or the taste that we allow our children to acquire that taste. So you want to give them beans and peas at a very early age so they acquire the taste. Don't wait till they're 10 and then they're spitting it out.
Well, hold on. Those are things that needs to be corrected as well, because people are of the assumption that beans and peas are things that we should be consuming, right? But what if those are things that we aren't supposed to be consuming?
Are you talking now about canned beans?
Talking about all
beans?
all legumes, right? So I don't want to go too much into the science of it, but I have all this stuff in the book as well. There is a reason why beans are soaked. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, we soak our beans. Yeah,
but you know the reason behind it?
Well, I just soak it because my mother, just like you just said, what we learned, tradition. Yes.
Traditional, right?
We understand.
But there is a scientific reason behind it, because there is a compound in it that is very harmful to the human body. So you soak it to get out some of it. You cannot get out all of it.
Okay.
Right? If I even mention that compound, phytic acid. Right? Phytic acid blocks calcium, magnesium, iron, zinc, chromium, and manganese. 6 essential minerals.
Important, yes.
Very important stuff.
Correct.
Right? So that's why I say we have to invest in educating. And that's why the individual said it should be the book should be in every school, because the information is key and very, very relevant.
Well, if you'll allow me, I would go further than that person and say every home.
Correct.
Every home. Every parent, every grandparent, every auntie, even for ourselves, it is important that we take a read if the information is so rich and important when it comes to our health.
It is very, very rich and important. In fact, that is what people have told me. The book is very, very informative. What I could say, and this might sound strange, but this is going to be the truth. What you're going to learn from this book, or if people even come and see me, when people book a consultation with me and they come to me, in that little moment of reading the book or consultation with me, you're going to learn more on nutrition in that one session from this one book than what you have learned on nutrition in your entire expanse of life, right? And I've told people that, and then people came to me, and after the consultation, They totally agreed. They totally agreed. All right? Because as I mentioned, we learn things from tradition with regards to nutrition, but when somebody now come and show you actual data, actual science, the truth with regards to nutrition, it is very different because it's something we haven't heard. But nutrition is the number one way in which the human body gets its nutrients, the number one way. But that is the area of least knowledge, right? Least importance when it comes to people's understanding, all right? And it should not be like that. That should be the most important thing. Understanding what you should and shouldn't be consuming should be, because that is what is important to life. You can't live without the macros, can't live without the micros. So you need it. Why do we have such a limited knowledge on it? All right, that should be something that should be a key target area with regards to knowledge for every individual, every household, every school, because it is so important, but it isn't. Chapter 3 in my book deals with the history of why it's so, why people don't know much on nutrition. So because I go into the history of all of it, and I put the data and the information to back what it is I'm saying. My book has an exhaustive reference section because you need to have the receipts to show why you could make such claims. And I have the scientific receipts in my reference section in the book to show people this is why I could make these claims, all right? Because they are factual, they are science-based, it have research to back it. It's not my opinion.
Based on research, intense research.
Intense research.
How long did you take in order to put all of your research and facts together?
Well, it actually didn't take me long because unless you look at my whole life as my entire life of collecting information. So my whole life, because I've been an educator, I've been a lecturer in fitness, because I used to lecture at Trinidad and Tobago Fitness Academy. So I used to teach international courses on fitness. Nice. All right.
Now I see you fit and well put together.
Yes, and it's good that I'm on television now because a lot of people thought I was overweight because they only saw from the neck up, right?
Yeah.
But yes, I've been into fitness for a while and been teaching and lecturing and stuff on it. And over the years, I was always good at researching. Researching have always been my strength. But you know, you're getting information from here and there and whatnot. But over the years now, certain things just come together. So this is why I say it didn't take long, because it's information I've pulled from over the years.
Yes, yeah.
Right? And I didn't memorize those things deliberately. It just so happened to be part of me.
Yeah.
Right?
Ah, you live it.
I live it. Exactly.
That's important.
I was my first client.
And the experience. And
yes.
we always say experience is a great teacher. Combined with knowledge is even a greater teacher. This is a program, Conversations with Zelisa. I'm in conversation with Mr. Chetwayo La Borde. He is a nutritional therapist and he's also the author of this wonderful book, You're Not Sick, You Are Malnutritioned. Let's go to these important messages. Stay with us.
If you want to understand what's really happening inside your body, I break it down in detail in my book, You Are Not Sick, You Are Malnourished. It's available on Amazon and Gumroad, RIK bookstores nationwide, Nelson's bookstore in Tobago, or directly through the clinic.
Welcome back to Conversations with Zelisa right here on Real TV, where we bring reality to you. I am in conversation today with Mr. Chetwayo La Borde. Now, Mr. La Borde is a nutritional therapist. He's also the author of this wonderful book, You're Not Sick, You Are Malnourished. It's your intake. And that is, it's simple, but it's brilliant. It's what we eat. You are really what you eat.
Correct.
Great. Welcome back, sir.
Thanks for having me again. Yeah, so as you mentioned, it's simple and it's brilliant, and I always tell people.
But it's deep.
It's very deep. Nature always follows the path of least resistance. Health and nutrition is supposed to be simple. We complicate things, right? We complicate things. And sometimes, I remember I read a study from the British Medical Journal, and they said that a lot of doctors and scientists would use technical jargons to confuse people, to prevent them from questioning them. Because if you sound like this thing is so scientific and technical, people would avoid asking you questions because they don't want to sound like they don't know, right? So they are not trained to do that. Huh? They are not trained to do that,
Right.
but some do to avoid that questioning.
Okay.
All right? So we have to understand that things are simple. I've heard people, I'm pretty sure you heard this saying, oh, it's not rocket science.
Right.
Because
All the
people
time.
believe rocket science is
Yeah.
very difficult and complex. But then I would
Complicated.
ask somebody, have you ever researched rocket science?
Exactly.
When you research it, you realize, oh, this is not complex, right?
Correct.
But, you know, we tend not to venture outside of our scope. And that's something interesting. How my business came about, being a nutritional therapist, reminds me of what happened with Hippocrates. I don't know if you're familiar with Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, right? He was in the classical era of the Greeks.
Greeks.
Back
correct.
then, the belief was disease is a punishment of the gods.
Correct.
That is what it was. Disease is a punishment of the gods. Hippocrates came with a different idea that challenged the system. Not because he wanted to challenge the system, but because there was a need. He saw something was lacking, and he realized, a disease is not a punishment of the gods. It's as a result of the inputs. It's as a result of environmental factors. And he was the one that came with the phrase, let your food be thy medicine, and thy medicine be thy food. Right? Now, if he was not willing to venture outside of the current way of thinking, we would not have the current medical system today. Right? Now, the medical system today is focused on symptom suppression. And because of how the system is today, all diseases continue to escalate. And that gave rise to somebody like myself now that came out and challenged the current part of the system today, which is, hey, we need to focus more on root cause instead of symptom suppression or symptom management.
Yeah.
So my business, my practice started out of necessity. Necessity. I saw a need. And when I started, it was because I focus on, people come to me for weight loss and stuff, is in fitness.
That was the first thing.
Right?
Yeah. Right, because you started off with fitness.
With fitness, right?
Great.
And I always understood you need to fix diet first, all right? And because of my emphasis on that, and because of how much research I do with regards to nutrition, when I changed people's diet, their diseases started to vanish, right? Their diseases started to vanish.
So you're now talking about diabetes, hypertension,
Cardiovascular diseases, strokes, simple things like hair loss.
Yeah.
A lot of men suffer with things like erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, and they don't want to talk about it. They're ashamed of it.
Adenomyosis, endometriosis,
Yeah.
fibroids,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
PCOS, all
Right.
of these conditions. These are not normal conditions.
Right.
They are common today,
Yeah.
but they are not normal. These are things that should not be happening. Not
Right.
because something is common means that it is normal.
Correct.
Or the fatigue and stuff that women suffer from during their menstrual cycle. Common, not normal, right? And we need to start to reject these things as being the norm, all right? So all of these things I notice, because I have had clients, even female clients, no more period pain. No more pains during the menstrual cycle.
Or bad headaches.
Bad
and
headaches,
things
none
like
of
that.
those things.
Yeah.
All of those things vanish because we correct the
So,
problem at
so
the
is
source.
this a combination now of eating right, healthy, as well as exercise?
That's
Is
a
it
very,
combination?
very good question. Now, what I like to explain to people is this. Fitness is a measure of performance. It is not a measure of health.
Okay.
Health and fitness are two separate things, right? So a lot of people think
Correct.
because I am fit, I am healthy.
Healthy, and that may not be, that's far from the truth.
That can be far from. This is why we have seen a lot of healthy, fit people
Yeah.
die from health issues,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So they are looking at their performance and using that to measure their health, when we shouldn't. Fitness cannot tell you what's taking place on a cellular level. It can't tell you if your immune system is functioning, right? Fitness could tell you if you're agile, if you're strong, if you could move fast, but it can't tell you on your lymphatic system, right? It can tell you on your nervous system. It can tell you a lot of stuff.
Absolutely true.
Right? So while fitness, and we need to move because movement is important, we need to understand the importance of health, and health is governed mainly by nutrition. Now when nutrition is right, fitness can cause you to improve your health faster when nutrition is right. All right, but if you are focusing on fitness only, right, like so many people in the country, right, they focus on fitness only, and we have carnival, of course, carnival time, people head to the gym. But if you notice, the mindset for a lot of people is, because I'm exercising, I could drink alcohol. Because I will burn it out.
You know what I've noticed, as you pinpointed, or you put a pin there with regards to carnival, even the fats have taken, they've turned things into more an eating festival. I
have observed that as well.
You follow? It's like anything and everything you think of eating.
Correct.
So it becomes now part of the culture what a fete is. When you go to a fete all-inclusive, it's like you can eat anything you think of.
Yes.
So it's more eating and a combination of drinking alcohol. It takes away from the actual moving and dancing and getting into the heat of things.
And then when people get sick, they blame it on foreigners and say foreigners bringing a bug. No, it's not that they brought in a bug. It's cellular damage based on what was being consumed. Think about what happens around carnival time. You're consuming alcohol. Alcohol is officially a poison. It have no benefit of consuming alcohol. It's officially a poison. You're eating all sorts of stuff, all right? Seed oils, high sugar stuff. You have things that have compounds in it that are harmful to the body that you're unaware of. You consume it. So there's cellular damage taking place. The body has to shed that cellular damage. And it's going to transport it out of your body through phlegm, mucus, and so forth. So you're going to get the coughing and the sneezing and whatnot, which you're going to say, you get the carnival bug.
Yeah, you get the carnival bug.
And on top of that, people partying, and lack of sleep. So lack of sleep, high party, your electrolyte balance drops because you're sweating, you're fatting, right? You're not replenishing those electrolytes. So all of these factors come together. Boom, sickness.
Mr. La Borde, you speak about lack of sleep. That's a big problem for many people. And how can you fix that? By exercise and diet as well?
Well, more so from a dietary perspective. Now, keep in mind, exercise. So let's look at something with regards to electrolytes. If your electrolytes drops too low, that could activate your sympathetic nervous system. So a lot of people have their sympathetic nervous system chronically activated. Now, just given one point with that, you have your dilated pupils when that happens. Now, your pupils dilate when you're in the dark in order to absorb more light so you can see better. Now, what if you're trying to sleep and your sympathetic nervous system is activated? Your pupils are, even with your eyelids closed, is still pulling in light. Now, what happens with that? It's going to reduce how much melatonin is released from the pineal gland in the brain, which is what tells your body to sleep. So difficulty sleeping. That is linked to nutrition. Now, somebody might just simply say, oh, it's stress because the sympathetic nervous system is activated. Yes, but what is the root cause of that stress? Comes back down to looking at the diet. So you have to tackle issues from all angles, not just a superficial standpoint.
I wanted to talk to you a little bit about intermittent diets. It's become very popular now. What are your thoughts on that?
Intermittent diet. So that is where people are timing when they should and shouldn't eat.
They're having maybe one meal a day and just fasting for the rest of the day.
Now, if people look at how I eat, clearly they would say, well, he eats an intermittent diet.
Well, when I look at you, you appear to be very healthy, well fit. That's what my takeaway is. And I guess it's because I will say, well, he is the ace of everything. He's a nutritional therapist, so he will always do what is right.
So, correct. I do not cheat at all. Cheat days is not something that's supposed to exist.
Right? You're very disciplined.
Yeah, so I don't do that. All right. But
so
when it comes
is it eating in moderation then, may I ask?
That's a good question. What actually is eating in moderation? Right? Because eating in moderation, there are few animals or organisms in nature that eat in moderation, but their moderation is governed by their biological and environmental limitations.
Right.
So what humans call eating in moderation
Yeah.
is also an inaccurate term that we utilize.
Okay.
Because moderation has to be in connection to your biological functions and environmental limitations. So we think moderation is eating whatever we want to eat. No.
Yeah.
That's not how it is.
My takeaway on moderation, or my interpretation of moderation is, I like cake, but I don't have cake every day. If I go to a birthday party or I attend some sort of birthday, I may have a very little piece, very little. For Christmas, I may want a piece of cake, and that's it for me. So that's my thing on moderation. I like doubles, as I was saying to you, but I'm not going to have a doubles every day. I'll have it once in a blue moon, but I do have it, and I'll have a coconut water with it. So there's certain things that my interpretation of moderation is that not abusing, not having it every day, but rather occasionally, you indulge a little bit.
Okay,
You know?
okay.
And I want you to think about that, because we're going to go to a quick break, and when we return, I'd like you to explain that, your
problem.
perspective on that. Yeah?
No problem.
This is a program, Conversations with Zelisa, right here on Real TV, where we bring reality to you. Let's go to these important messages. When we return, we continue our conversation, reminding you, my friends, your health is your wealth. Let's go to these messages.
If you want to understand what's really happening inside your body, I break it down in detail in my book, You Are Not Sick, You Are Malnourished. It's available on Amazon and Gumroad, RIK bookstores nationwide, Nelson's bookstore in Tobago, or directly through the clinic. If you want to understand what's really happening inside your body, I break it down in detail in my book, You Are Not Sick, You Are Malnourished. It's available on Amazon and Gumroad, RIK bookstores nationwide, Nelson's bookstore in Tobago, or directly through the clinic.
Welcome back to Conversations with Zelisa, right here on Real TV, where we bring reality to you, to all of our local, regional, international viewers. Thank you so much for choosing us. I'm in conversation with Mr. Chetwayo La Borde. He is a nutritional therapist, talking to us about the importance of good health, making the right choices, investing in yourself. And another perspective that we often take for granted is investing in educating yourself, empowering yourself. And welcome back, sir.
Thanks.
Telling
again.
us about all of the challenges that we are facing. You know, more and more you think of poor health, people with poor health. It's a sad feeling, because you could never be happy if you're not healthy.
Correct.
You can't be yourself.
But there's the other aspect, is a lot of people have married their illness. So their identity has been formed as being a person that isn't healthy. And that is also something that can hinder people from even helping themselves and reversing their issues. If you grow up being unhealthy and all your friends are people within that community, then you now becoming healthy can cause you to lose connection with those people.
Correct.
Because
You can't
what bonded
identify anything.
And humans have an innate sense of belonging. We need that feeling of belonging. So these are some of the hindrances. For example, a smoker. It's not just, nicotine is very addictive, we know that. But that is not the only thing that keeps people smoking. A lot of smokers, their entire circle of friends is smokers. And if you quit, it would mean I have to avoid secondhand smoke too, so I can't associate.
You're the odd one. So you don't feel part of something anymore.
Correct. And these things is subconscious as well. So to really and truly heal, healing is a process. That's what I tell people. It's a process. It is not a product, right? It's not a product. It's a process. So you have to take it from a holistic standpoint. But what people need to understand is when you change your circle, you're going to end up in another one, right? One that could have same goals as you. that could have a same positive impact on your life. But you have to be willing to take that step, right? Have to be willing to take that step. Now, earlier you mentioned with regards to, you want to consume something like a cake or whatnot at specific occasion. This is why I say we need to invest in education, because sometimes we might think something is innocent. I take this innocent piece of this or that. And because we don't understand what happens metabolically, we don't know that that little thing can throw off your entire metabolic process. And it could take hours to days to reset it. Now, if that
Thinking
little
of
thing,
it that way, you're absolutely, especially
right?
when you're on a whole new meal plan or a whole new brand new, looking in that perspective as taking that step
yeah.
to being a happier, healthier me, it comes with a lot of discipline.
Right? So when you think about it, let's say you consume something, it throws off the metabolic system, and let's say it could take usually takes between 48 hours, 2 days to 7 days to get it back on track. But within that 48 hours or 2 days to 7 days, you consume that same thing again. You notice what's happening? It never gets back on track. So some people are in a state of high insulin levels chronically because of what they have been continuously consuming. And they're unaware of that, and that eventually leads to insulin resistance. Insulin resistance can cause all sorts of metabolic issues, from hypertension to diabetes to you name it, kidney disease, you name it, all right? But people are unaware of it, and that's why I started off by saying we need to be willing to invest in educating ourselves, because a lot of things that we think is simple can have a major impact on our health, all right? And, somebody might say, well, it's just a small thing, and study shows that this individual thing doesn't cause that much harm to the body, and the amount you need to consume to cause harm to the body is, you wouldn't be able to consume it. So you may have heard this saying, that the dose creates the poison, right? The dose creates the poison. But that is if you are isolating. Our bodies, our biology doesn't work in isolation. So while, let's say, aspartame, which is a substitute used in Diet Coke, that has harmful effect on the body, but they say the amount that you consume, the amount you'll have to consume to get damage, is a large amount you can't consume, that you'll quicker die from over-consuming the water in it, right, than the actual aspartame. But that is looking at one harmful toxin. But the average human being do not consume one harmful toxin alone. The average person consumes, let me show some figures, between 5,000 to 10,000 harmful toxins per day. So we can't look at things in isolation. We have to look at it in connection with all of the things that we are consuming. And if you have the opportunity to remove at least one of them, you should.
Now, I come into a point here. I know someone very slim, very fit. You look at him and he is as fit as can be, well put together, but he could have a roti every day for lunch with a soft drink. Now, how serious is that down the road?
Oh, that is very serious. Very, very serious. Because there are things that's happening internally that they are not aware of. So they are just judging based on their exterior look, just on the aesthetics. So they say, no, I look good, so therefore I could continue to eat this. Now there's something called, and I mentioned this in the book as well, fat cell count, right? You have a fixed fat cell count in the body. And that depends on what you were fed when you were under a particular age, that you have this fat cell count, all right? Now, if you weren't fed certain things under a particular age, that fat cell count remains the same, and it would stay the same for the rest of your life. But if you were overfed certain things, like sugars, your fat cell count increases. And that can stay for the rest of your life, which means somebody that I'm pretty sure you would have seen, you'll see somebody who has been large in their early years, they lose weight, but then they eat a little something, boom, they put back on the weight quick.
Fat diets, they go on fat
Right.
diets, yeah.
So that is
Yo-yo.
that fat cell set count that's taking place there. They have more fat cells due to what they were consuming in their younger days, and that now puts them at risk to always be able to put back the fat on. So when they lose weight, it's just simply those fat cells are empty, but they're still there.
Now,
So it's easy to
we
fill.
talk about losing weight and everybody wants to look good for the eye, you know, to fit into clothes, to look good. But some people that may look fit may not necessarily
Correct.
be healthy.
Correct. So you could look fit, but
Not
be
be healthy.
metabolically
Yeah.
unhealthy. Right?
How important, I mean, you are a therapist, you first started off with physiotherapy and, you know, with
Well, physical training, yeah.
exercises and training, exactly. How important is exercise in our lives?
Exercise plays an important role because we are not designed to be still.
Right.
Right? You need to work your muscles
Yeah.
in order for it to maintain its health.
Right.
Right? Your muscles have a protein turnover. Right? So that protein turnover is where the body would destroy some and then replaces it. But if you are not active, it could destroy some and then not replace all of it. So you need to get your body active in order to do that replacing, right? And of course, what exercise is putting a physiological strain on a system, whether it's your muscle mass, skeletal muscle, your cardiovascular system, and the damage that it causes, because that's what exercise causes, microscopic damage, and then the body builds it back stronger. But the only way that could happen is if the nutrition is right. If the nutrition is
so what
off,
you're saying is balance and working hand in hand to
so-
get results.
Correct. So if the nutrition is off, you are damaging, but you don't have enough nutrients to repair
Nice.
correctly. So then the
Yeah.
exercise, the fitness, the thing that you're doing to try
Yeah.
to be healthy could be contributing to ill health.
Mr. La Borde, I could continue this conversation for another hour and another hour because it's so interesting and so important and so valuable. You know, information, knowledge, as we say, is power, but as we also know, it is about implementing and making the change.
Yes.
You know, I want to thank you kindly. Your closing comments, please.
So thanks for having me. What I want to encourage people is your health is your wealth, all right? You are not sick, you are malnourished. Your body breaks down long before symptoms appear, all right? So you need to understand that. I want to encourage people to go out there, get my book, You Are Not Sick, You Are Malnourished. It's available at RIK bookstores nationwide, Nelson's bookstore in Tobago. It's on Amazon, and the digital copy is also on Gumroad, all right? You can also book a consultation to come and see me, all right, where I go into specific details with your issues to help you reverse those health issues, all right? Because I have a nutritional therapy program that focuses on getting you better and healthier, all right? So thanks for having me. I thank you all for viewing. And
I
Zelisa?
trust and hope that we will have other conversations.
I
you
would
know.
definitely
I think
love
you're
that.
so rich in knowledge, and once you impart that, you know, we will be able to help our viewers near and far make better choices and live a happier, healthier life. I thank you kindly. I wish you continued success as you grow from strength to strength, as you continue to help people find themselves, because very often along the way we get so consumed with work that we lose ourselves, we lose the essence of life, and we lose our health. And we work and work and work and save and save and save, and in the end we spend it all on trying to save our lives. And there are times when it becomes too late.
Yes.
Yes? So I thank you kindly. I look forward to other conversations with you. God bless you. Enjoy your Easter.
Yes, you too.
Happy
Should I give a
holidays.
contact number?
Please do.
All right,
Please.
so you can contact me at 279-3935. That's 279-3935 or 761-1952. That's 761-1952.
Great. Make that call and make that change. Get started to the new and improved you. This is where we're going to wrap things up. Let me thank you kindly for choosing us. Be safe, be happy, learn to respect the law of the land, learn to love yourself, right? Because tomorrow is not promised. Keep smiling, you know, be positive and always know the best is yet to come. Here's reminding you, with God and only God, all things are possible. I am Zelisa Budu Singh Rupani. Stick and stay with us. Thanks for choosing us here at Real TV.
If you want to understand what's really happening inside your body, I break it down in detail in my book, You Are Not Sick, You Are Malnourished. It's available on Amazon and Gumroad, RIK bookstores nationwide, Nelson's bookstore in Tobago, or directly through the clinic.